I'm going into a familiar spot. I've hunted a couple times last year. Saw a good buck, saw some deer. I'm just gonna be hunting off of a point, hardwood point. Might be a few acorns. I may see nothing, or I may see a whole slew of bucks. Might shoot a doe. I never know what I'm gonna see here, but it's a pretty good little area. I had to shoot my bow back at camp because, well, when I left the spot yesterday evening, set my bow on top of my truck, took off down the road, and it slid off. But luckily there's another guy hunting the same area as me, and he saw it in the road, picked it up for me, and sent me a message. And I was halfway home to get my backup bow, and I got his message, and I went and got it. So thanks, Drew. Appreciate that. I thought it was gonna be busted, but I took it back to camp and shot it, and it's still shooting. I think it fell off and landed on the quiver or something. We're gonna get in here and pick us a tree. It's 9 o'clock. Normally I'd sit till at least 10, but it's just I haven't been seeing any deer. So what I'm gonna do is climb down and do a little more scouting, kind of poke around, look for a fresh sign, because I scouted in here a couple times over the summer, and in the past it's been a pretty good spot, but everywhere I go I'm not seeing deer like I usually do. So it's time to dig into some stuff and see if I can get on some fresh sign, maybe a food source I didn't know about. But I'll let y'all know what I find. Deer tracks in here. Golly. Alright. I'm hunting the same block of woods I hunted yesterday morning with Chris and Jeremy. Jeremy was all the way on the other end of the woods down that way. I was halfway this way. And then Chris was set up over by that corner. And there's corn that way, corn this way. Bedding over there. The wind is kind of blowing this way, angled out into the corn, but we're cutting it close with the bedding, so I'm going to stay on this side of the woods just to reduce the chance of my wind cutting into bedding. But this is kind of a staging area. There's some red oaks that have started to drop in here, so there's acorns kind of lightly scattered throughout here. And I found good deer sign coming out of here yesterday morning, so I'll be up here in a tree somewhere, and we'll see if we can't shoot a big old doe this evening. Well, guess what? Ain't seen nothing. There's another guy in camp who's hunting up that way, not too far from me. And he said he saw 4 does heading my way about an hour and a half ago. Obviously they weren't headed my way long enough. But there's deer all around here. I just can't seem to get into them. Guess I'll try something new in the morning. Alright, it is day 4. I slept in this morning. Actually, I got up around 5 and was debating where to go, and realized I have little confidence in any spot that I was going to walk into in the dark and set up. So rather than climb up somewhere and hope for the best and fall asleep in the tree, I decided to sleep in. So now I've got a little more energy, and I'm doing a little scouting around, Actually going into a spot that I walked about a month ago, and it looked like a great little oak flat, and it didn't have acorns back then, but it had a lot of deer droppings, so deer were spending a lot of time up there. So that's where I'm going right now. I've been walking this whole oak flat up here. I found 3 piles of old droppings, not fresh at all. And it was covered in droppings, you know, a month and a half whenever I was up here scouting. And it looks like the deer are not in here like they were, which tells me there's probably some acorns or something not on this oak flat, and they're hitting the acorn somewhere else. But I'm walking back out along the drop off on this ridge where it starts to slope down, just looking for anything, looking for fresh deer crap or good acorns. I've seen a couple acorns here and there, but nothing to get excited about. A fresh one. There's a couple of acorns on the ground. Let's poke around here a little bit. The pin I had dropped on Onyx was up there earlier this summer, but there just wasn't a sign up there. There's been a deer here. I mean, that's not enough to come in here and hunt, but it's enough to keep looking harder, see if there's any heavy sign nearby. I think it was just a deer or two coming through here. I'm looking for a more high odds location because I'm ready to see some deer and shoot one. I'm not just hoping a deer strolls by, I want to get in them. I've been following a pretty good deer trail coming up through here. There's another pile of droppings, and it's all green down here. I like this. Wind is kind of coming this way, so if they're bedded down there, I've already ruined the spot for the day. But they're coming through here, through this way. If they're bedded over that way, I could find a setup for this evening. There's another fairly fresh one. I noticed just all around here. Now there's a lot of armadillos, but there's a lot of deer tracks in here. You can see where the leaves have been depressed into the ground. Like, that's a track right there. If you pull the leaves out, it's actually pushed a hole in the ground. Armadillos stick their nose in and root things up, and it can be confusing sometimes, but leaves are pushed down like deer-sized holes all over the place. They've been all along this hillside here. I found some pig nuts back there. They'll eat those sometimes. The wind is still switching. It's blowing the wrong way right now. It's just kind of going everywhere, so. Alright, well, I just stopped and washed off in the creek, feeling refreshed. A little chilly. Also, I'm trying to be quiet because there may be deer bedded nearby. Checking a spot that I've hunted in the past and seen some deer. Never killed one. Something always went wrong, but there's deer in here. I gotta be throwing milkweed silk. I'm running a little behind now because I had to plug yet another tire in my truck because I got a hole in one side that the plug keeps wanting to leak because it's in the sidewall, and then I heard air hissing out while I was driving, pulled over, and it was my left tire had a big hole in the tread, so I plugged it. Now I'm just driving like 2 miles an hour everywhere I go, afraid to hit a rock. But with that said, I've seen deer come out somewhere right in here before. So that's the food plots I was just in. There's the standing corn's empty. The coons and deer ate it all. There's a persimmon tree with a couple ripe ones, but nothing on the ground. Some old deer droppings, but there's like no oaks out there by the food plots. But in here there's a bunch of red oaks, and I just saw some acorns. So hopefully we get into something right here. There's a CRP type bedding cover up there. Yeah, look, there's some deer droppings right there. And that's a bad one. No, there it is. Some green and some brown. Acorns, that one's bad. There's good acorns on the ground. The truck is right up there, 60 yards away. I'm fixing to go get my stuff and pick a tree in here. This looks great. There's another pile of deer droppings. Alright, we won't get out of here. There's another pile. Okay. It's about all I needed to see. It's like 3 or 4 piles right there. Acorns on the ground, right by the truck. There's acorns everywhere, all the way up to the truck. Okay, so there's a four-wheeler, a truck, and now a tractor full of seed just rolled up. They got a food plot, so I'm going in here in the red oaks. And then there's that bedding cover that growed up CRP type stuff, and then there's a food plot that's just been disked, and they're planting it right. They're getting ready to plant it right now. So, all right, let's get our stuff and get in a tree. By the time I picked a tree and got climbed up, they finished planting that food plot. It wasn't a very big one, and they had gone down the road, so it's quiet now. There's really nothing green in that food plot, so I imagine they're going to be coming in here eating these acorns. This is the best acorn sign I have found so far, by far. Well, another uneventful day. Alright, I'm going in to that trail I found on that hillside when I was scouting the Oak Flat yesterday. I'm not hunting a particular food source, more just a place where they would travel through. And it looked like they had been coming through there pretty recently yesterday. So, we're gonna see how it goes, give it a shot. I'm picking a tree and I heard a deer blow way out across the hollow. Oh well, at least there's deer in here. It's only about 8:30, but I'm gonna climb down and head that way and scout the bottoms. See if I find anything, and then maybe drop a pin or two, and then get out of here. I did some walking around these cornfields looking for sign. I was gonna set up all the way on the far end, but I just wasn't like what I was seeing. And it looked like a little bit better sign over here. A couple fresh droppings behind me in the woods, and some trails coming out to the corn. I've got a shot to the edge of the field, just a little opening, and of course a shot behind me here. So the wind is kind of cutting back behind me. I'm hoping the deer will work this edge before they come out, so they're not coming from like right downwind. But we'll see. I just saw the first deer of the evening go into the corn. I can't see it anymore, but it went in right there. And just like 3 of them came out, same spot. Oh wait, they're coming down this way a little bit. Well, we've made a slight improvement. Seen 4 deer, about 100 yards out. I'm starting to forget what they look like. So, it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow. If I feel like it, I might get out and do a little still hunting, but I don't know if I'm going to climb a tree tomorrow in the rain because I didn't bring any of my rain gear. So, then after that, we got one more day for this camp. And weather should be better the day after tomorrow, so stay tuned.